To go in more depth about the United States, we are believers and followers of Christ. So we actually believe the word of God when it says that the United States is Babylon and the United States is under judgment. So all of those things are very real to us. And with the message from God saying you need to go, we actually just said, okay, we need to be obedient and we need to go. So we were not running away from anything. We actually had a very good life. We had been, like I said, at that point in time, 28 years married. Had been in the home that we were in for 20 years. That was our forever home. We were fine. We were good. There was nothing terrible going on in our life. We are business owners. That was going very well. So it came somewhat of a surprise, but when God delivers you for something, you don't sit back and be like, not today, maybe tomorrow.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, y'all. It's me, SB.
Dearly beloved.
Yes. SB for my family back in the U.S. and Sabu for my new family here in South Africa. I hope everyone is doing well. So, as you see, we are trying something new and different tonight. I hope you all can get into it, enjoy it, especially my South African family. My United States family, this is probably nothing new for you all because y'all have seen me go live several times and on many panels. But anyway, trying to bring something new to South Africa because we have conversations that seems like to me that really need to be had in the moment. I mean, I get a lot of comments about different things and I just wish I could just talk to the person at that moment. And I know they probably wish that they could talk to me because all this back and forth with the text messaging and all of that don't work because who sits and holds their phone all day? But anyway, that's why we're here. And tonight we're just, we basically are answering a question. Or let me just say this. Several times we have gotten comments about how expats or African Americans, I'm assuming, are coming to South Africa and we are basically just blowing up the economy, right? We're just messing it up. So I want to dive into that and see exactly, is there some validity to it? Or, can it be better? What can we do? Can it work out for everybody? I want to hear some real voices behind what we are actually, and me being African American come to South Africa. I want to know what we're doing to the economy. I want to know how it's affecting you all. I want to know, is it better or is it worse? So that's what we're here for tonight. And I just thank you all for being here. Green Phantom, hello. You're a familiar symbol. It's good to see you. And Agnes. Now listen, I got to tell y'all something about me. Those of you, this is the first time coming into my live, I got to let y'all know something. I'm from the eastern part of the United States, okay? I have an accent that is very southern, okay? So my pronunciation of your names will be jacked up. Just understand this. But it's not intentional. It's just me and this tongue. I do not have it together yet, but I got to let y'all know I am learning Zulu and coming soon. So y'all gonna be a part of that too. It's coming soon. But for now, if I mess it up, y'all just break it down in syllables and send it to me through the live, and then me and Mr. Boss, we'll try to get it right. But until then, Agnoff, peace to you also, and thank you, and welcome to the live. Sasa Mabala, please. The wisest woman salute. Salute to you too. Listen, I'm so glad that you all are here. Continue to get the word out that SB does have a live and may be having a live. We'll definitely try to advertise it in advance. Let us know if this 6 o'clock hour is good for you all. Here in SA, it is 6 p.m. or around about that time. But in the United States, it is right at noon, lunchtime. Most of them are still at work. Here we off doing our thing, riding home or what have you. If you're listening to me in the car, give me a thumbs up. If you're somewhere sitting down just looking at your phone, chime in. Let me know what you think. Now, today's title of the show, I never really know this. We discuss it, but then Mr. Boss takes it and just changes it on me. But it is Americans increased cost of living in South Africa. Did we really do that? I want to talk to y'all about it because I really wish they would have left it at the South African price because I kind of like that. So anyway, we're going to get into it. If y'all have something to add, please call in. Eventually, Mr. Boss will drop the link and you'll see a little link there where you can call in and leave and we can talk. Miss Juanita, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while, Sabona. There you go. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. But he'll drop the link, and then you're definitely welcome to come in and share whatever it is that you would like to share with me. SB is just learning some things. We want to keep the conversation going forward. So if for some reason you don't that you don't agree with me about something, it's okay. It's okay as long as we're having respectable conversation because, again, we're moving the conversation forward. And understand, I've been living in the West my whole entire life, and I'm used to doing things a certain way. But guess what? It may be time to learn something new. All right? So just keep that all in mind. T. Johnson, how are you? Shalom, family. Green family. Taurus makes food and stuff more expensive, but Taurus? They also make jobs. Oh, Taurus. Is that Taurus maybe? I don't know. Green Phantom, I'm gonna let you maybe look. Don't play with me because you know I be getting it wrong. But anyway, make food and stuff more expensive, but they also make jobs. Listen, we're gonna talk about it because the basis of this, I think, is a lot of us. Well, let's just give it a few more minutes. Let's see, can we do some catch up before we get into it? Because I definitely want to know, because I have so many comments. I see this often about how we're driving up the economy. And I got some concerns ourselves because, like I said, I would love to have the South African price for everything. But often we find ourselves being charged more also for some goods and some services. And I ain't liking that either. So let's just keep it real. Oh, Ista. Hey, Sabu. How are you doing? Listen, I hope all is well. Ista, if I did not do it correctly, just hyphenate it, put it back in there. Let me know I am learning this. So forgive me. But anyway, we're going to talk about it. I want to begin with this. There are approximately, and I don't know if this number is exact in any way, and I know it's not, it can't be because things are constantly moving. But the last I heard, it was approximately 4,000 African American individuals that have, let's say, applied for their visas here for South Africa, have them or applied for them. Let's just say that. And that would that would be where we would get a number. I want to know. I don't forget, y'all. It's millions. Is it 63 million or 26 million people in South Africa? It's a very high number. Y'all smart. Y'all let me know. Is it 23 or 63? This is a 60 million people in South Africa, and it's 4,000 of us African Americans that have recently applied for visas or that have visas. Y'all know we ain't impacted. We ain't doing that much. I know we're not. But if you all feel like we are, I need to know because there is ways that this thing could be moving. But for me, I think when you talk about the economy, buying and spending, money moving, I think that's all positive. I want to know what you all are thinking too. But again, keep in mind, I too would love to keep that South African price. But I think the one that impacts most people would be the real estate. Now, y'all know I'm a realtor at heart. Let me say hello to a couple more people before I get started. Ann Martin from Ohio. Hello, Miss Ann. How are you? Do you think Black Americans could live like local SAs? Now, you got to give me more of an example of what you mean by local. Because when I hear local, I tend to think that that's people or individuals that live here, born here. Now, if you are speaking of people that live in informal housing or something like that, I would probably tell you no. But because they're not used to living that way in the United States, the federal government. Let me take that back. There's a such thing as people that are homeless, and that would probably be right at the equivalent of being homeless. It would be, and no, the United States, they would not come over to live in informal settlements. That wouldn't be something that they would do. Could they do that? We got to do what we got to do. It's a certain thing called survival. You'll never know where you may end up, or for whatever reason. Let's just say it like that. If you got to do it, you got to do it. But could they do it? Yeah, they could do it. But would they do it? Probably not. If it was given a choice, no, that would not be what they did. But that's almost like saying to me, what are you saying? Do you think, because I heard this, I wonder about this. People who live, when you say like locals, and if we're talking about informally, is that something that they too want to do? I mean, do people want to live in informal settlements? I would love to know that answer, because they're fine. It seems like to me they're fine. It seems like sometimes when we see it, we're a bit like, oh my God, can I help? What's going on? But it seems like they're fine. So I would like to know that too. But as far as the United States, people coming here from the United States, can they live in informal settlements? I would say no. But we do what we have to do. And I hope I'm answering your question, because you said local. I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Or who that would be. Proudly ZA, this is your home. Cost of living has always been high caused by our corporate government. Okay, I like that. Proudly ZA. Oh, I'm sorry. Caused by our corrupt government. Okay. Yeah. I want to hear that. Listen, though, we need to get up in that. We need to talk about that a little bit, because how is the government? Is the government setting the price of the homes? Is that how we're seeing it, as the government is setting the price of the homes? Because I don't see it that way. So we still need to talk about that. We need to talk about that. Ron Trent, he says it's a lot of perception, but also regional. Places like Cape Town specifically have seen trends of accelerated inflation in certain sectors, property, leisure, and other goods and services. You are exactly right. There was a article that I saw that in 2019, and I went back to 2019 because those years of COVID nobody's doing anything. I went back to 2019, and it definitely said that foreigners were definitely moving to Cape Town, and they were spending the money. That's where housing, the real estate market was. It's even moving slow back then, though, in 2019. But people were buying homes 2.7 million and above. And I forgot the number of what it was, but they also said that homes, they said for locals, again, they use that term locals, from 1.9 million and below, they were not buying. I think that's what it was, 1.5 and below, which of all property sales. And they said 80%, and you can't see it there now, but 80% of the people are buying 1.5 million and below. So you're right. There is a lot of money being spent in Cape Town. But like now, we are spending money in Johannesburg. So, I don't know. It's let's see here. Let's see. It has not, which year is this? This is 2019. It has not been an easy year. Actually, they're speaking of inflation here. There are some segments that have managed successfully to navigate tough market. So do y'all understand that the real estate market is what really thrives or drives your economy? You got to think about it. When people have enough money or make enough money to purchase a home, or when they're purchasing home, wherever they get their money from, or investing in home ownership, everybody gets a piece of that pie. When people are buying a home, that means the people in the carpenters have a job, the plumbers have a job. Everybody has a piece of that pie. The schools, because people sometimes have children. People who buy homes, property, they buy cars, they buy furniture. The real estate market affects every market you can think of. So if the real estate market is stagnant, then that means the inflation is coming. We're hurting. We're not going to be able to survive very long, or nobody's doing anything. So what you want to always do is to pour into the real estate market, or pour into the market and keep it going. So back in 2019, it says, especially in the property market price below 1.5 million, which forms about 80% of the property sales. Those below 2 million, it wasn't moving, it wasn't moving. And this was 2019. Now in 2025 or 2024, it is definitely moving. People are definitely buying. I don't think I have that one up here, but according to the Lightstone, there are 6 million properties worth 5.5 trillion in South Africa, y'all. Now, this is before we even got here. So look, we didn't affect this. This was before we even came. Actually, it was before I even thought about South Africa, which is 261,097 properties have been sold between January and November of 2019. I can't really see that right now, but the number of sales per month, therefore, decreased 9.8%. Before it decreased from 2018, y'all. So this was in 2019. So sales value has also decreased by 5.73% from 20 billion to 19 billion per month. So back in 2019, things were definitely declining. So the fact that we're here now in 2024, probably since COVID 22 and up, we have definitely sown into your real estate market, if nothing else, and it is increasing. And it is, I would say, making everything better. This is my thoughts. Y'all can definitely tell me if y'all don't agree. I think it makes everything better because the real estate market does touch every other market. Everyone should be able to win off of a thriving real estate market. This is how it should be. There should be more job creation. There should be more money going into the federal government. Oh, excuse me, I shouldn't say federal government. Into your government, we pay more vets or taxes or whatever way y'all want to call it. We pay more money to live for. So anytime somebody's purchasing real estate, it should be winning. It should be a winning thing. But often it sounds like to me that there's a complaint there, is that because we are here and we're spending money, then they really don't want us here. So I really want to hear what y'all think about that because, I don't know. Let's see here. Ron Trent says, so once the local middle class starts to struggling to enjoy some of the luxuries, that just went away. The luxuries and amenities they used to afford, it leads to a current outcry and a sense of panic from the border. Okay. Border says, I don't know. Tebza, how are you? How are you doing? Hi, yes, you can live like a local person. However, the laws require that you make 2,000. Okay. Yeah, 2,250 in US to qualify for a visa. That would set you up near the middle class. Okay. You can downgrade while here and live. I want to hear more about what is considered local. Maybe I'm seeing that term or hearing that term differently, but I want to hear what you all are considering local. I've lived with an American family in our village in Durban. They had no problems living in the suburbs, had to relocate, miss them. Oh, let's see. Ron says it's just a pity that African Americans are coming into the country at a time when people are super sensitive about economic mortality and immigration issues, especially the growing sentiment of foreigners taking jobs. That is a big deal. That is a big deal. Anytime I talk to people in America, and I've been on several panels where we discuss things about coming to the United States, we discuss that often. I always let everyone know, don't come here looking for a job. I think that's a terrible thing to do because of the unemployment. But again, the economy has to pick up some way. It has to pick up some way. If it's not picked up with the sale of real estates or the foreigners coming here to live, how is it going to grow? Because there should be more jobs being created or more positions or something. Like I said, when we come here and we buy houses or buy real estate or whatever, that's giving everyone an opportunity. It gives opportunity to a lot of different people. The furniture market, the carpenters, the the fix it person. Everybody has more. It just feeds into the need for that home and for those people. So therefore, everybody should win. So if there's a position somewhere with the city per se, I'm calling it the city. I'm not sure what you all call it, but if this should also just lead to more job creation, y'all. It just automatically should. The more people that come here that feed into the market, whether it's buying homes, putting your kids in school, buying cars, whatever it is, it should just create more jobs. When you're creating more jobs, that should also create more rand for people who live here, who are born here. When you create more money for them, then they can actually buy more homes themselves. It's not going to work out if there's not money being fed into the economy. It's not going to work out. Real estate is a complicated one in the essay content. Okay, let's hear about it. Black people have historically been locked out of that sector. I want to know how. Tell me about it. Local Black people just started getting jobs that allowed them to afford homes. This is what I'm saying. The more we kick in, and when I say foreigners, it doesn't have to be African Americans. It's anybody that's spending money here. That should allow for more money to come into South Africa. The more money that comes in, people are making more money, and that should turn into more income for those individuals. Then therefore they should be able to buy homes, whereas they had low paying jobs or what have you, and they couldn't. So I agree with the fact that what you just said, if they've been locked out that way, I definitely understand. But that should turn around once every people continue to come, and they're going to continue to come. Right now, I think we're at about 4,000. It will be more people. It will be. I get emails all the time about people coming here, wanting to live here. They want the information. They want to know, how can I do this? How can I do that? So it's definitely happening, so y'all gotta just give us some time or just see what happens. But again, I like the South African rate, y'all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not looking to pay a whole lot of extra money. I can, and I'm not looking to be taken advantage of. I've come from a place of capitalism, so I want to be a little different, right? So, buy a fixer upper for cheap, cheap, cheap. Yeah, you can. We've done that, but typically, we buy fixer uppers for investments. You're right. Live in it a year, fix it up, and then sell it. So yeah, that's something also that can be done to make money. I am in KZN. I'm a local. My house is a previously Indian area, and I valued at 1.8 million, hugely overinflated in a township. Really? Okay, Miss Juanita, let's hear about that. How did you think that took place? What happened? I want to know what happened there. Why is your house overinflated? I want to know why you think that. That's some good information. But I mean, I get it. I know what you're saying, but I want to know, how did that happen? Is it because foreigners came in and were paying more money for homes in that township that increased your market value? Or let's hear about it. Just see. I mean, because shouldn't we automatically gain? Shouldn't real estate appreciate? I mean, should we just, if it's not, if you're not wasting your real estate and you keeping it up, you making sure the maintenance is good on your home, shouldn't it appreciate over time? It shouldn't be the same amount as when you bought it. I mean, that's just what real estate does. So I want to know. I'm with you. SA is a desperate need of FDI. Me, personally, I'd prefer that to be followed by people coming and building the economy. It's just a tough sell to those at the bottom. Okay, so then what we have to do is continue to feed into the economy, so the bottom won't look that way, or the bottom will also be able to, thrive. But now understand, we have to create some more jobs. There's not enough job creation here. There's not enough. So we got to figure out how we can get the economy going. There's a lot of things that can be done that I don't see, but we got to get it going. So listen, Mr. Boss has dropped the link. So if you would like to come up and make a call or talk to me online, you do not have to show your face, but we have to see your face, but you don't have to be on camera. Then we can have more of a conversation. Gracefully favored. How are you? The issue is the prices are going up from the foreigners coming with dollars and euros, thus making it difficult for locals to afford the prices that foreigners are willing to pay. Okay, so that's what I want to hear about. That's the part I want to hear about because, like I said, there was a chart there, an article that was done in 2019. This was prior to me knowing of foreigners coming here, and I'm sure there were foreigners coming at the time. And the prices of the home were going from like 2 million up to 10 million and more. And that is typically what foreigners would pay, somewhere between 2 million and 10 million for their homes. But those were the prices for the homes in 2019, which is still the prices of the home now. But what happened in 2019, those homes were not selling. No one was buying. They were sitting there. I should have looked up the time on the market, but I know for myself there are some houses that sit 3 to 4 years. So nobody was purchasing those homes. It says there in that article, usually locals purchase properties from 1.9 and below. And that market decreased too in 2019. I don't know what caused that. I just think that at that particular time, there was nothing going on. It was inflation in SA, but things are changing. But I want to know from you. I want to hear from you. Um, why do you think that, of course, things are they're supposed to appreciate. But again, back then in 2019, when the houses were that price, nobody was paying for them. So I guess the assumption is that it's not they're not worth it, or there was just nobody buying and selling. There was no movement. It is not typical for a house to be on the market 3 or 4 years. Most would say if a house is on the market that long, it is overpriced. So you're right about that. But again, if locals are purchasing properties that are under 2 million, how is the properties that are 2 million and above? How are they affecting what the locals are actually buying? I want to know that. Or is it affecting what the locals are actually buying? I want to know. I want y'all to tell me if that's the case because the locals, the foreigners are spending more money. Definitely, they are. But like I said, though, even prior to us being here, it was already established that from the article that locals spent less than 2 million. So I want to know how, the fact that we are spending is because the house, guess what, y'all? Again, if our houses were less, then we would pay less also, but it's a good price for us coming from where we're coming from. The amount of money we spend in the United States is buying homes here is an awesome investment. I can only just say that. It's just, you can't beat it. Whether it's a fixer upper or whether it's somewhere that you're going to live, whatever the situation will be, the real estate market is very good here. The weather is good here. So it is so many things you can do. And like I said, real estate drives the market. It really does. And long as real estate is moving, then your economy will be moving. And you want money to be in your economy. It just feeds the whole country. It really does. That's how you grow. That's how people make money. And it should be happening. Now, if you don't see it, it could be due to the corrupt government, like someone mentioned earlier. I really don't know. I don't know about that part. Not saying it's not, but I just don't know. I don't know, how the money is being spent, but it's definitely being made. And it's obvious it's being made, y'all. This is a very wealthy looking country to me. But I do know that there is some disparity. Let's see. Miss Juanita says, I am right now in a danger of losing my house to bills okay. I'm fighting tooth and nails to keep it by turning into a learning center. I have 2 degrees of wealth experience and I'm unemployed. Okay, so this goes back to Miss Juanita. I remember you mentioning this the time before that you and I spoke. I don't know the ins and outs of how your real estate market, how your financial system actually works. So I can't speak on that per se. But I hope this works. I hope that you don't lose your home. That's a number one asset. So I hope that doesn't happen. Definitely not. A local government employee living comfortably from paycheck to paycheck, earning around $1,000 per month. Right. Right. Yeah. I don't quite understand I don't understand it completely. I don't know how, your financial I don't know. I can just tell you about how real estate works. I don't know about the financial market. How is it a government employee is living paycheck to paycheck, earning around $1,000 per month? I'm not sure about that. Now, some probably would say this is due to the corrupt government. So I would like to hear about it. I want to know how it works because me just being on the outside, I would definitely say a government employee should be making more money. But then again, I don't know the ins and outs. I want to hear about it. Think of it this way: Compton, California, housing prices have seen a huge increase over the last 10 years due to rising home prices in parts of LA that are more upmarket. I get that part, but I'm saying that I understand that. Guess what? Even where I'm coming from, even even where I came from, the housing market, like I said, my house tripled. No, it didn't. It doubled, a little over doubled in price from the time I purchased it from the to the time I sold it. So I understand that. I see that. But I can't blame that on a certain individual that decided to come to, or individuals that decide to move to the United States and buy property. That's not the reason why it happened. That's not, it didn't happen that way. It's just that when typically what happens when the housing or real estate market is not moving, what they do is they will reduce interest rates and they will put some type of cash flow into into the country to increase sales, to say, okay, look, I'm going to reduce the interest rates down to 2% or 3%, because everyone understands that if people are buying homes, then jobs are there. It flows, it makes everything flow. So if homes are not being sold and it takes 3 to 4 years to sell one house, then that tells you that something is off. The interest rates are too high, or something needs to be adjusted in order to keep the market flowing. Even properties under $2 million, 2 million rand, whatever the situation may be, the interest rate needs to be lowered in order to keep that moving. So again, I understand what I'm seeing, and I understand people even saying that, but surely that's not because of foreigners moving in. What we're doing is we kind of, hate to say this, but we kind of adjust it to the system that is here, and we're paying the price and we're moving forward, but we're definitely causing it to move again. But we didn't drive up the price. The price was what it was, or what it is. We didn't drive it up. We just decided that, okay, it's okay for us. We'll pay for it. That's how I see it. Now, if y'all see it differently, I would love to know. So the part about trying to equate it to say rich people coming into, certain areas of some poor who are coming into money would like to leave but can't afford to. Now that, yeah, okay, I get it. I get what you're saying when you say that, but that's that's everywhere. That's everywhere. We have everybody. There are poor people everywhere. There are people who um that can't afford to buy homes everywhere. That's that's just how it is. There's supposed to be a place in the government that takes care of them. That's how it's supposed to be structured. And from my understanding, they have that here too. I don't know. Oh, he say estate agents just love to make a buck. Okay, okay. So let's hear about that. So you're saying that the prices of the homes. Now, listen, I could definitely tell you it is a little different because when you buying a home here, it used to be, let me say it like this, on the other side over there, when you purchase a home by square footage, or heated square footage, I should say, and things of that nature. And, all of that, the age of a house and stuff like that, which is very important on the other side. But over here, it doesn't have as much, it's not very important to know the square footage of a house. I mean, they don't have that information readily for you. Some of them do, I'm sure. But for the most part, they be like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, huh? And they don't know the age, exact age. Now, when was the house built? They don't really know. So that might have some validity to it. I don't know. Estate agents just love to make a buck. I don't know. Maybe that's a little true. There are stories of old people in Brooklyn and Queens who can no longer afford to live in their neighborhoods. Yep. And you know what else too? They are, in some cases, I don't know the situation. In some cases, they're losing their properties. Now, a lot of that may be considered. There's a thing when you get a mortgage on your home. When a bank supplies you with a mortgage or finances your house for you, you cannot waste your property, meaning it has to be in good repair. It can't look as though it's that you're wasting or that it's falling apart. There's a certain amount of maintenance goes into a home. If the bank or if someone perceives this property as being wasted or not upkept or what have you, and it's being financed by a bank, they could very well take that property from you. And I think a lot of times in places like in Brooklyn, people who've lived in homes for many years have gotten old in those homes and just can't afford the upkeep of a home. I think a lot of times they do lose their property. That's called gentrification. People come in, they've lived there all their lives. People come in, give them a little bit of money and kick them out. I do see that. I hate that. And I think a lot of times that is because of a lack of knowledge. I think there are a lot of grants and things out there that can protect you from losing your property that way. I just think that a lot of times we don't know about it, so we don't inquire about it. Or we started off older people. Sometimes older people don't have children, don't have family that can help with them, or they don't reach out to ask the questions. But a lot of times there are properties, there are grants or things of that nature that can help a person so their property won't have the appearance of being wasted, and you can upgrade your own property and not lose it. Especially if you have a loan that's funded by the government, like a FHA loan or a loan that was given to a veteran or something like that. There's ways they will take care of your house for you, per se. I think SA should put a cap on the prices the foreigners should pay. Example, foreigners should only buy houses that cost $5 million and up. Okay, now why would that be? So the people who, let's just say this. So the people who have properties that that are for sale from 2 million to 5 million, who would buy their homes? Because remember, there's articles and stats out there that say locals purchase less than 2 million. So it's almost looking like somewhere between 2 and 5 million from your comment, gracefully favored, that there's no you want to save those properties between 2 and 5 million for, I'm assuming, maybe the locals, and you want foreigners to purchase 5 million and up, right? So who's going to purchase the 2 to 5 million? Because what you're going to do with this, and this could be something, I don't see how it would work, but this may mean that people between 2 million and 5 million may not ever be able to sell their properties. Because we would have to ask the locals, are you willing to pay 5 million for a property? Are you willing to pay over 2 million? Because there are stats saying that they don't want to pay over 2 million for their properties. Now, guess what though? If a $2.5 million property was going at a 2% interest rate, then definitely a local would want that, or a 3% interest rate, whatever, a 5 million, they definitely would, because if the interest rates were lower, they could get more home for their money. So I kind of agree with that too. I don't think that that's something that can be done. That's almost like a redlining situation. It's like, you're a foreigner, you got to buy over there, you can't come over here. I think that's illegal. But I understand what you're saying. Though, I guess. But again, like I said, are locals willing to purchase something more than 2 million? Because in the past they haven't been. But again, that's because of the situation. Their income that they're bringing in, and also the interest rates would make a huge difference between 2 million and 5 million. Oh my goodness. That's a huge difference. And I'm hoping you mean in 5 million rand, because there's a dollar side it up. But yeah, that, as long as the market continues to flow, then, and you know what? I don't think that's probably not, that may not be so crazy because of what we used to paying for our homes in the US. 5 million rand may not be totally, that's not knock upside the head. That may be a decent price for what we're used to paying. I don't have no conversion calculator here in front of me, but I wonder how much is that? I don't know, but that might be something that you can look into. But I think we should work on the interest rates. Whatever drives the interest rates here, let's drive them down so people can continue to purchase, so people continue to want, so their money goes further. And again, you can't get rid of the foreigners just because the interest rate is low. They get to participate in all the goodness too. Okay, so on 500,000 is 288,000. 5 million is $288,000. Okay, okay. 5 million rand is $288,000. Okay, so excuse me, that's a good house. That's a good house. And if the locals would be able to purchase up to that and would do so, that may make good sense. Most of the foreigners have businesses in SA. Why must they buy low market houses? Uh, I don't I don't think they do. I don't know of that. Is that something that you're telling me or asking? Because I didn't think that they did that. They're invested in SA and creating jobs. We must buy what we can afford. Most of the foreigners have businesses in SA. Okay, so I think me too, being a foreigner, um, we look for investments and we look for places to live. And I think what you all need to understand here in SA is that typically real estate is a good price coming from where we're coming from, no matter what. If it's a fixer upper, it's a really good price. Just like we just came to the conclusions, 5 million rand is still under $300,000. That is a good house, considering that same house would probably be 700,000 in the United States. So that's still a good house, but we too want investments. We want our monies and our dollars and rand to go a long way also. But yes, we do. We are creating jobs. We want to do that. Again, though, y'all, as long as somebody's purchasing a home or buying something, it should be creating jobs. The real estate market drives every market there is. I don't Y'all can give me one that it doesn't, I don't know of, because it affects kids. You have kids, it affects schools. You buying furniture for your house, you putting carpet, floors. It's affecting everybody. Everybody wins when the real estate market is going and moving. You have issues when no one is buying. That's the problem. And your income should be going up. The more that we're spending, that means that's more money people have in the investing in the businesses. So the business should pay the people that work for them more money. There should be something like a cost of living or a cost of business raise that goes out to employees every year if that business is making money. And the only way you can do that, I think, is investing in your real estate market, is keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. So it's not a loss. It's not a loss, but as long as the business owners are profit driven, they will want to capitalize and increase prices. Okay. So the government can't punish businesses or foreigners with money for this. No, but that's the way it is though. But everybody should win. If if a business owner is capitalizing off of the business, the extra business, let's go back to 2019. If no one was buying a home in 2019 and 2025, just the 4,000 people or the 4,000 individuals that have applied for visas here in the recent years, just say all of them, that's 4,000 more than was moving in 2019. That says something when you look at it that way. Now we already know that is not this is not a real scenario, because me and Mr. Boss applied for 2 separate visas, but we're one family. So, okay, 4,000 individuals, but it's not, the number is not exact. But even that is moving the economy. We buy grocery, we purchase all the time. We're doing something. We buy cars, we buy gas, we have to buy tires, we have to buy insurance. All of this adds to the economy to keep it moving. Now, in that, all that extra money that is being made is supposed to go to the individuals, the employees, the owner first, of course, and it's supposed to just, trickle down to the employees. And, all of that supposed to, it's supposed to like wash each other out per se. It keeps it going. But when you don't spend, or when no one is purchasing, then no one can make money. So listen, guys, Mr. Boss has dropped the link. If you want to talk about this more in person, one-on-one, you could definitely call and we can speak to you. But You don't have to cam up, but I do have to see you on camera behind stage just to make sure you're not a person and someone that's going to do something crazy. But I already know. People who watch me usually don't do crazy things. A fixer upper in an unmarket area. What is an upmarket area? What is that considered? Upmarket area, 800,000 Rand. Flip it and make it 1.4 million. Okay, so listen, when you are considered flipping a house, right? And you got to put money into it. You still showing the value. It's not like you taking that same 800,000 that you negotiated, the 800,000 Rand that you negotiated. You flip it. You're flipping it. You're adding value to it by doing something. If it's only changing the floors, painting it, put new windows, put whatever. You're doing something to the house to add the value. You're not going to just, you know, and then longer as you keeping it at that price below 2 million, you're going to sell that house. You definitely are. But again, is that bad? Is that a bad thing to do? No, I think you're adding value, good value, and you still are at a price point that the locals will pay for that home. So that home should sell quickly. And I don't know what's considered quickly here, but I would say within a year. But that is something that's still good. But if we can't do that, then the market is just stale. That means SA is not making any money, but through tourism, and that's just probably very much seasonal, or is that really, really a whole lot of money? You want to make money with the people that actually live here. You want SA to be the place that, my country does this. I mean, I would love that. I don't want it always to be that, oh, it's the country that is corrupt, government, that they scam, they do this, they do that. No, you don't want that. You want everybody to understand that's not what's going on here. This is what's going on over here. People purchase and buy real estate. People purchase and buy cars. They have families. They're working people. That's what you want your country to be known for. Nothing dark and, crazy. Durban is the cheapest. Okay. I've heard good things about Durban, but I've also heard some things that are not so good. I think SA situation is different due to the recent past. Locals need to be protected. Okay, let's hear about it. Protected. Protected from who? Luxury is cheap in SA compared to other countries, and this attracting people. You got to speak on that a little bit more because luxury items here I found are more expensive in here than in the US. But you got to tell me what you're talking about because maybe we're talking about two different things. Luxury items here are more expensive unless I'm missing it. Hey, Mel, how are you? U.S. corporations have a major presence in SA. People move as capital moves. I agree, but we got to keep the capital moving. Sometimes I get from people here in SA that they don't want to change anything. I don't want to move. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I get a lot of pushback from that. And I'm like, come on, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Tell us the problem. Tell us the problem because when you have a thriving economy, everything is good. People are making money. That should be everybody. That just shouldn't be the top 1%. It should be everybody. You will spend about 50,000 Rand to repair. Okay, and still do 1.4 million. Okay, I don't know if that to be true, but that would be a good. How long would it take you to make that money? Probably. How long? But that's a good that would be a good flip, and that's what investors do. I don't see no problem in that. Sounds like that's something that was going on way before the foreigners moved here. But not too much because again in 2019 everything was stagnant, so we got to get all this stuff moving again. But again, you don't want to price yourself out of the market where locals can afford. Everybody needs a nice place to live. If so, that's a good market. You want to keep that because we all can understand and see that anything above 2 million, things slow down a lot. They're now picking up due to foreigners. Oh, you did it. There you go. You did it. uh, you things are picking up here as due to foreigners coming spending more money. But I want to know: is it a negative effect? Are we driving up the cost? Are we doing that proudly? ZA, you look. He did it before he or she did it before we even knew each other. So I want to know: did we drive up that cost? Who bought the house? Who bought it? Was it a South African, or was it a foreigner who bought the home? I would love to know. Watch, don't hurt my feelings. But either way, that was a good thing to do. Listen, y'all, the link is in the comment section over here. If you want to come up and speak to me more direct, I would appreciate it. You can definitely do that. Now, last time y'all saw me, I was on Mr. Boss actually did a clip of me being on a panel. And on that panel, I was being asked all these crazy questions about SA because y'all understand this. People in the United States still do not know what goes on in the United States. I mean, what goes on in SA. Hey, SBU. Hey, Montrez, how are you? Here in North Carolina, I know 10 real estate agents that had quit because no one can afford to buy homes due to high mortgage rates. Ooh, you know what? I was a realtor in North Carolina. you know, um, exactly. Because when the mortgage rates are high, nobody can afford the homes. And that was one thing that I mentioned about here in SA. To me, the interest rates are very, very high. And y'all helped me out on this. Last thing I checked, I think they were like 15%, somewhere between 12 and 15. Y'all tell me what the going rate is today. But that is a lot of money to add to the cost of a home. I mean, that's a lot. So interest rates is a major part. And I do understand, 10 real estate agents that quit. Yeah, you have to. Because if that's how they make their money. And if ain't nobody buying any houses, you can't do it. So again, that would be a major part in the real estate market here. If the interest rates were lower, then more people would buy because more can afford. But again, I don't know the financial I don't know about the finances here. I don't know how mortgage rates and all those things work here in SA. I want to know. But yeah, that could be an issue here. But y'all understand, as a foreigner, when we come here, we have to basically pay for what we want. Now, they do give us mortgage loans at, I think, 50%, up to 50%. So, which is still could be a lot if it's like 15% interest. So again, we're still putting money into South Africa. We're still moving. We're still keeping things moving. So that is definitely what we want to do. Cape Town is pretty much owned by foreigners. Really? I had no idea. Wow. Okay. You know what? How many people here? Is it 63 million? 60 million people in SA. Did I have that right? Is it 20? I can't remember what I saw. Y'all help me out with that. That's a lot of people to say that foreigners own Cape Town. That's big. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Then you're gonna say that Cape Town is nearly pretty much owned by foreigners. That's a lot. But okay. Again, Montrez, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Gratefully favored. That's hard to believe, but I can understand. I think I understand exactly what you're saying. I think I do. But you can still help me out. Again, the link is in the comment section if y'all have something you want to add. But I want to go back to y'all and tell y'all about the show I was on the other day, where a lot of the people in the United States, they have all these different questions, guys. They want to know so many things. They've heard so many things that are just way off about Africa, the continent, and South Africa included. So they were asking questions, and one of the questions that one of the comments I kept getting about the clip that we did was about the young man in the MAGA hat, "Make America Great Again." Now, here in South Africa, we pretty brown skinned, most of us are. And they were like, "Look, I can't get over the young man wearing the MAGA hat. The MAGA hat, Chaotic. His name is Chaotic Truth. Chaotic is so funny, crazy, actually. He's going to do anything to get somebody's attention. He's going to make someone have a conversation about something he did. Now, today, he probably got on a King of FBA hat. He's something. It's going to be a conversation. He's going to try his best to get your goat, to get you going, to get you excited about something he did. But he's pretty a conservative person, but he is something else. His thought process is just way out there. So the MAGA hat was, I ain't gonna say you can't take it seriously because he had the hat on, but it's just one of those things. He just likes to get people stirred up, and that's what he does. So I wanted to let everyone know he's okay guy. But that hat, he always gets people stirred up. Cape Town has the best South African lobster tails. Okay, I'm gonna have to believe you on that. I've only been to Cape Town one time, and we stayed a couple days, and I did not get any lobster tails. I didn't even get any good fish. So I'm going to have to do better when I go back. I did go to Gold's Restaurant, and if y'all ever been there, they give you a little bit of all the 11 tribes, I think it was, that are in South Africa. They give you a little bit of everything. So it was a good experience. I really liked that, actually. And I really like Cape Town. I'm going to have to go back. But anyway, I wanted to tell y'all that about that. The other things that they were talking about is they just don't know. They don't know what's going on in South Africa. Now, understand this, guys. It's not that I push South Africa. I just think that South Africa is a good place to live. You all are in a place for me that is, I like the speed of South Africa. I think it could be a outstanding place to be until I go on to glory. America has gotten to be a place, the United States. I can't take too many things away from it because I grew up there. I spent my whole life there. It made me who I am. So I can't take anything away from it. But it has gotten to be so corrupt. There are so many things going on. I mean, it has shaped us so much in a way that it's like, I need a break. I got to get away from here. And for the fact that there was a message that was given to my husband saying we need to go. So we left. We were delivered from that. And I'm not interested in going back. I'm interested in being in a place that is moving forward, that is thriving. But when I hear things like, you are foreigners are doing this and doing that, I really like to investigate because I'm like, wait a minute, I do want to make this my home. I do, but I want to make sure that me making this is my home. I want to be welcome in this place. And don't get me wrong, I get welcomed by most, if not 90% of South Africans. But there's always a few that have a little something negative to say. And I'm thinking, okay, so if it's something that we're not doing correctly, if it's something we're not bringing to the table that's not good, I want to know what it is because we want to, like I said, I want to make it my home. We want to, well, all those things that we did and achieved, things we know, we want to bring here, far as real estate and how we see the market. How do we grow in the market? How do we make some money? How do we move forward? How we can contribute, basically. So we want to move forward with those things. But if that's not what's necessary, or how can we do it? We're trying to learn. We're trying to learn. So it's always important. So I'm always asking the questions. I just don't want to hear people just kind of just saying things and just walking away. I want someone to give me something of substance so we can change some things or do something. So that's why I'm always asking that. Hey, Linda, how are you? That is why we love Black Americans coming and buying houses here in SA that are disciplined, that are successful. We need this here. It is good for our economy. You will always welcome and invest, reside in SA. Thank you so much. That's what we plan on doing. Mel and me, how are you all? My position is unless someone has at least visited or spent time in South Africa or even the continent as a whole, they cannot legitimately engage in commentary on what it is. Well, they have to ask questions. They've gotten an idea. Well, let's just say someone has given them an idea of what it is, right? They have done nothing but that. I'm going to say my whole life, I've been given nothing but an idea of what it's like. So what it would do for me is make me say, I'm not going. I'm not going. So now what we're doing, people who have moved to South Africa or in the process of moving to South Africa, we're now saying, look, it's not that way. And since you've been told it's a certain way so many years, now you're like, wait a minute. Is she for real or is she lying? I mean, I have a brother. I was telling my brother about things here, and he like, how you might call somebody to the side and be like, okay, for real now. Tell me how it is. Now, I'm telling you, I'm showing you my home. I'm telling you how it is. I'm your sister. I have no interest in fooling you or anything. And he's still like, okay, tell me for real, how it is. So, it's conditioning. Their minds and my mind was conditioned to think that South Africa, or I should say Africa, the continent, was away. Never gave it any thought. It was good enough for me, you know. I didn't. Well, what do I need to kick down the door and go find out for? I agree. If you say it was this way, if you wanted us to believe what Sally Fields was putting out there, okay, because that's all I saw. I never saw anything else. So now that there are people out there that are showing other parts, you definitely have people who are still conditioned and are saying, wait a minute, you know. And then you got people that are just negative and is going to have a problem. So you got that too. So that is why I go through and go to these certain panels and fight, not really fight, but definitely give correct information on my experience from South Africa. That's why I do that. Because again, it's been negative and wrong information that has been put out about Africa, the continent, definitely South Africa for so many years. So this is why we do that. Mel and me. Fifi, what's going on with you? How are you? Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. But Mel and me, listen, I think you look familiar to me. I think you are someone that lives in South Africa, or I think is this. I'm not sure. You tell me, Mel and me, are you someone that lives in South Africa? Because that name sounds so familiar to me. I think I saw some of your videos. You bought a house here. Okay. Oh, but you okay? So tell me your situation if you know really want to quickly, because your name definitely sounds familiar and it looks familiar to me. So I think that well, if I got it wrong, forgive me. But hey, you are I think the person the couple that lives in South Africa now or still lives in both places. But so you know what I'm talking about. But thank you so much for your comment. Hybrid Network Channel. Our illegal immigration causes problems, not legally binding immigrants. Yeah. You know what? This is amazing because this illegal immigration thing is a problem a lot of places as of late. And it's kind of strange that it's all happening now. You know, you have people that have been living, I'm just going to say in the United States for 20, 30 plus years, and they have been there illegal. That's just wild to me. Um, you know, I heard one guy, he said that he had been there for about 20 years, y'all. He hadn't paid any taxes or anything for 20 plus years. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is just crazy. I didn't even know that it was that big of a problem. You know, it's you think two ways about this because, nothing is ours. We didn't create nothing. I ain't created a border. I don't even know if I support a border. But I do support the fact that you're supposed to do things decent in order and follow the laws of the land. So then it's just got you kind of perplexed. I don't want anybody being kicked out or, it's just hard. It's hard because it poses such huge problems. Because again, we ain't create nothing. Ain't nothing mine. And when I leave here, I'm leaving here with nothing. So for me to be like, get out, you wrong, you this, it's just hard to say this. But again, if like here, it's often said that the illegal immigrants are taking the jobs away because they're willing to work for less money. That's crazy. It's like, no, wait a minute. We need to do some more border patrol because people that live in a country should be able to work. And it's the same for the United States. People who live in a country should be able to work. But then when you look at people who've lived in a country illegal for 20 to 30 years, you're like, wait a minute, y'all. 20 or 30 years? What were y'all doing 20 or 30 years ago? Or what were y'all doing 16 years ago when their visa ran out? Or whatever the situation may have been? What was going on then? So it's just hard for me. It's hard for me to say. I don't want to kick anybody. I don't want children and families being apart. But again, it's got to be some way that it could be fixed, and I'm pretty sure everybody is working it out. But it gets tough, though. I see some of the stuff that's going on, y'all. I see it. I definitely see it. So it's tough. Definitely. Um, are you going to Doc? Sorry, I can't be talking about that right now gracefully. Are you going? So I know to look for you. But yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, let's see here. Oh, Spyway. I know I probably pronounced that wrong. Thanks for promoting South Africa to African Americans. And you are doing a great job. Thank you so much. Did I say your name correctly? Spyway. Y'all, listen, I am going to be starting with the Zulu. I'm going to have to call all y'all and say, I need some help. I got to have somebody to talk to. Otherwise, it's going to just be me in my own head. But I can't wait to get started. It's going to be funny. I'm telling you, it's gonna be funny. I know y'all gonna be laughing at me when I'm trying to repeat some things that I hear or I thought I heard. But I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to make this our home. Definitely. But listen, the link is in the comment section. If you have or want to come up and say something, introduce yourself, it would be excellent for me. It would make the evening go back quicker. But I'm just here trying to do something new because I do know not many people, or if any people here that I know in SA do lives where they allow you to call in. It could be going on. I don't know everything. But again, I appreciate you all and want you all to come because I want to hear the differences. I want to hear because we're still trying to bridge the gap. A lot of times I ask a lot of questions. And people are always saying, you don't need to deal with that. I do because I want to make this my home. So I need to know as much as I can. So understand that, y'all. So the best way I can get it is from South Africans themselves. Now, I'll get a South African and somebody says, well, you shouldn't have got that South African. I'll get another one. Oh, you shouldn't have got that one. There's always something wrong with somebody. So those people, I want to talk to those people because those are the ones who are the most helpful, I'm assuming. Green Phantom, if you don't have a border, you can't control drugs and try to fight. Oh, listen, okay, listen. Do we have the appearance? Does the world have an appearance like they controlling drugs? I mean, I seen a video today, just hurt my heart. Drugs were not being controlled at all. No, they were not. So it's got to be more to it than that. Have a border, you can't control drugs and try to find a knife. What is it would be hard. Look, we losing on the drug thing. I saw a video today that was sad, very, very sad about drugs in places that you would think that these people got so many other things to think about. I can't believe they're thinking about drugs. But then guess what? That's what drugs are for, right? To numb you. I don't know. We're losing that one. Stefan, just catching up on the live broadcast, so I might be off topic a bit. Never off topic. Go ahead, let's hear it. When I look online at SA Real Estate, I see houses from 10 to 50 million rand. How are these selling if the average is below 2 million? Okay. I don't think we're saying the average is below 2 million, but what we were saying is that the locals tend to buy 2 million or less. That's how locals tend to spend 2 million or less on their properties, and foreigners tend to spend 5 million and above on their properties. And this is 5 million rand, 2 million rand. Less is for locals, 5 million rand or above. And I think the issues are the fact that the foreigners are here willing to purchase properties that are 5 million or 2 million and above in rand. They are driving up the cost, I'm assuming, of the 2 million or below home costs also. Now, I don't think that that's true, but that's the question of tonight. Are the foreigners, are the costs, are we driving up the cost? Now, again, I had an article from 2019 where it clearly stated that 2 million and under were the local costs for homes, and no, locals were not buying them at that time. It's because of the market. It had anything to do. It was because of the economy. It had nothing to do with foreigners. It was just a stale time. And it could have been due to the interest rates or what have you. I did not look up the rate at that time. I didn't do that. But now I happen to know probably since 2022 or maybe 23, foreigners are coming and buying and investing in SA, and we are spending a lot of money in real estate. We definitely are. And a lot of us are spending 5 million rand and above. But again, like I said, with us doing that, the real estate market drives the economy. So that's giving us, putting more money in SA, and everybody should be winning, because when you buy homes, that means more people are coming. That means they need furniture, they need cars, schools, kids need clothing. You need furniture for your houses, TV, you need a yard person, you need grass, you need everything. So whenever, real estate is moving, then everybody should be winning. Now, if that's not happening, then there's a breakdown somewhere else after the real estate purchase. And that's where we're trying to find. Because don't blame the foreigners, y'all. Don't blame us for it. Because, let's just find out where the problem is and concentrate on fixing that. Let's just try that. If I go to the US undocumented, they would view me as a troublemaker because I am not documented. Hence, we are saying people should be documented so that they obey the laws of the country. I agree. I'm not saying that I don't agree with that. I think that is simple and that is the way it should be. My point is, once those people are documented, and I'm giving you an example of what I've heard in the US several times, they are documented, they have their visas, the visas are good for 4 years. But when that fourth year came, they didn't leave. And then now they've been there for 20 years. So four were good, the last 16 were not. What do you do with those people? That's the question. Those are the ones that make me think because so many things happen in 20 years. So many things can happen. It's still illegal. Don't get me wrong. I ain't going for no illegal business. It's just your emotions tend to get involved when you kick someone out of a place that they've been for 20 years. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it happens. Just trying to stay real, you know, trying to still have compassion and empathy for people. See, once we lose that, we are in a bad way. We don't want to ever lose that. So you know. Let's see here. Mrs. Sabu, do you know Walmart is coming to South? Oh my God. Oh, you know what? I feel like Walmart is already in South Africa. I mean, what's it called? Macro. Macro is kind of like Walmart, but no, I love Walmart. I used to really, really love Walmart. I think Walmart in South Africa would be great. Uh, Listen, more jobs. I think that'll be really good, actually. More jobs. I hear that a lot of them are closing down in the United States for different reasons. Theft. Um, there's been a lot of theft. I think theft is the most. But I'm not. Listen, I'm not. Walmart has made money every quarter for ever since I've known it to exist. I'm not. I ain't feeling sorry for Walmart. They done made their money in the US. It may be time for them to go somewhere else because there's so much violence in some of the Walmarts now. You don't want to go or you can't go. So, I know over here that won't happen. So it'll be just a good quality place to buy your goods. But again, micro and the game are somewhat like Walmart. Actually, macro, they have that same symbol as Walmart. So I'm almost sure that Walmart has something to do with that, or vice versa. So yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool. Montrez says, "How is your mama doing?" My mom is passed away 3 years ago. Oh, it'll be 4 years ago on Halloween. Do you still call her while you and your husband living in South Africa? It wasn't. My mom hasn't. Yeah, you must be speaking of my dad, or maybe have me confused with someone else. I don't know. But yes, I call my dad all the time, and I call my mother-in-law all the time. Um, Let's stop. Lynn, how are you? Thank you so much for commenting. Let's stop scapegoating Americans. It's the white South Africans and white Americans and white Europeans that have been living in South Africa for years. What are they doing? What are they doing? Come on, give me more than that about Americans being in South Africa. Look at the disparity between white South Africa and Africans and the actual natives of that South Africa. I see it. I do see it, but I want to know, how do we contribute to that? That was something that was definitely done. And when I say we, I'm talking about African Americans that have recently come to South Africa, because a lot of times I think we may get blamed. I'm not saying it's a big blame. It's just sometimes we get comments like we are driving up the cost, or we're doing something that is negatively affecting South Africa. So I want to know, how do we as African Americans contribute to the disparity that is already in South Africa? I want to know that. So, Lynn Will, can you, dive a little deeper, or you can definitely call in, because this seems like it's a conversation that I would love to hear you speak about. I cannot go. I cannot go to another country and live past actual visa that was given to me. I wouldn't either. But guess what? A lot of people have done it, apparently. Stefan says, the wife and I are planning our first trip to SA next fall. Okay, congratulations. If prices would go from, um, I didn't know if prices would go from Oklahoma to LA before we got there. If we like it, coming back to stay would surely be an option. You would love it. You're going to love it here. You definitely are. What is this? Nonya? Nonya? Ooh, Nanya Baz. Buzzy. Nanya. What about the B and the Z? Y'all got us on this one. As a disabled retiree, if I come and purchase a home, will I get residency? Can't do the long flight back. Oh, wow. So listen, what you would want to do, I don't know where you're coming from, but what you would want to do is get your visa and your okay, it's a couple of ways. You can get financial independence uh, visa where you qualify for your assets. I think it's about $700,000 you have to show in assets or liquid cash. Or you can be get your retiree visa through the military, and you can come over. Disabled retiree. So that means you're getting some type of pension or some type of income monthly. You have to get it in the States though before you come. And then once you come, then you can apply for your permanent residency. I think within about a year or two, you can apply, and then hopefully you'll get your residency before your visa expires. But that needs to be done in the United States before you actually come this way. Green Phantom says, the problems are not the legal foreigners. There are a lot of big problems in SA, like a price of electricity, and the government isn't looking after the farmers. I believe farmland is decreasing. Now, that electricity price. Okay, so that's a problem in itself that needs to be dealt with. If so, I mean, what is the issue with it? Is that due to what? Why is the electricity so expensive? Is that something some other power plant need to be, some more infrastructure? What needs to happen? And the government isn't looking after the farmers. Okay, that's a big deal. You got to look after your farmers. They're the ones creating food. What needs to happen? What needs to happen? We hear a lot of stories about farmers being, and a lot of farmland being, taken and different things like that. That's a separate issue. That's something that definitely needs to be looked into and prioritized. I agree with that. Lynn Will say, I cannot go to another country. Oh, I already read that one. Thank you so much. You're exactly right. We cannot go to another country illegal. I wouldn't do it. Guys, listen, when you're coming into live, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you. Also, keep in mind, Mr. Boss has dropped the link. The link is in the comment section. If you would like to come up and speak with me, you're welcome to do so. Mailing me says, I drew an interesting analogy on the whole rising cost of living due to African American fusion. Okay, we have a recognize the big picture. What is the big picture? Don't leave us hanging. Green Phantom says, I drew an interesting analogy on okay, blaming the white South Africans while the government is making black billionaires. Okay. It's the government's fault. Okay, so the government makes black billionaires. Wow. Okay. Um, that's a conversation. I would love to hear more about that. That's something you need to call in, though. You got to call in. This is too much conversation in writing. We need to call in and talk about that. I want to know how the government is making black billionaires. I want to know how that's going on. Definitely. Yeah, but definitely when you come into live, give us a thumbs up. We would appreciate it. And I want to hear more about it. Miss Juanita, hello. How are you? Let's see. We're going to bring you in just a second. All right. So yeah, I want to know about that. I want to know more about that. Just a moment. I want to know more about how the government is making black billionaires. Does anybody and everybody, qualify? That's interesting. I hope this is true. Just give me a minute. The big mailing me while we're getting Miss Juanita in here. We having a little issue, but just a second. While we're getting her in, I'm gonna read this comment. Mailing me podcast says the big picture is that a nation's economy will not grow with just the same money circulating in its economy. Absolutely, it's not. You got to insert, and you got to spend. I think that's what Obama taught us, right? You got to spend money in order for it to keep moving. Definitely. But sometimes it's just not going to make sense because if the interest rates are so high, I know someone mentioned earlier, if the interest rates are really high, I'm not buying a house. You can't afford it. That's just more problems later on. No one's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. So I agree with the less problems. So you're right. But I want to go back to this millionaire thing. I want to know how the government is making black millionaires. I really do. Hey, Miss Juanita, can you hear me? She can't hear me. Can you hear me, Miss Juanita? I see you. Hello.
Hi there, it's been
Hey, how are you?
forever and my lighting is bad because can you hear me?
I can now. I definitely can. How are you?
Hello.
Uh oh. Her signal? Miss Juanita, you keep going in and out. It's something about your signal. Try calling back in once more. Maybe can you change your position in the house or something? Maybe that would be better. Mr. Martrez says, "Oh, I'm sorry that your mom passed away. It is great that you are still in contact with your dad and mother-in-law." Yes, I'm still in contact with my whole, well, not whole, but most folks in my family. I talk to them pretty often, though. But definitely, thank you for asking. Let's see. We're gonna try Miss Juanita one more time. Maybe we can get some better reception with her this time. Y'all keep in mind that Miss Juanita, can you hear me? So, what is this one? Malutsip? Y'all look again. We want more of African Americans. The people who denied them access to Africa are the ones who's running around Africa exploiting. Oh, y'all are really telling me something. Y'all
Hi
telling me something.
there.
Miss Juanita, how are you doing?
I'm really can you hear me?
I can hear you, but sometimes it will go out. But right now, you're fine.
I am fine. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yeah, I hear you. But you can't hear me, right?
Okay, because I'm also trying to save on electricity costs.
Oh,
You know, you're talking about a lot of important things here.
okay. Tell us about it. What part makes
You're
you
talking about a lot of important things. Ship- you
it's not working. You keep going out. Oh gosh, Miss Juanita. It keeps going out. I hear one word and then it just goes out. I'm sorry about that. Um Melanie also says maybe they refer to the tender process there. Oh, I don't know. Miss Juanita was going to have something for us. Miss Juanita, you said we're talking about some very important things. What part is the most important to you? Just if you don't mind, just putting that in the comment section so we can kind of touch on it a little bit. Maybe other people are in agreement with you. And I'm sorry, the reception's not working well today. That I can't hear you. It keeps going in and out. Hmm. But you think so? Okay, the tender process as far as hiring people, contractors to do jobs, and then they're not carrying them out. Yeah, that's some. Let me tell you something, y'all. This is just my observation. I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I never really hear of any consequences that people have to go through for this type of bad behavior. And when I say this type of bad behavior, I'm talking about like the tender process. If someone does something incorrectly with a tender, I never hear of what happened when, the after fact or once they were caught. I never hear anybody say, well, they had to do 10 years in prison. They had to pay all the money back. They had to, I never hear of the consequences of fraudulent or bad behavior. Is there such thing, or is it just, a bad deal and we continue on? I just wonder. Y'all help me out with that. Because I have heard some horrible stories about tenders. I've heard some things about that too. So that is interesting. We're gonna try with Miss Juanita one more time. No, it's not. She's not coming in. Oh, there she go. Miss Juanita, can you
You're
hear me?
talking about a lot of important things, but not the connection between them
Okay.
in terms of, oh, that is so unfortunate. You're talking about municipalities, you're talking about rates, you're talking about properties. Oh, forget it. Forget.
Oh, I think Miss she gave up. Okay. Yeah, it's going in and out, Miss Juanita. Yeah, and I am talking about all these things, and I would like to have some clarity because again, I'm just observing and I'm commenting due to some things that have been commented towards me or said towards us, I should say. Or like if I'm on a panel of a show we have, there's always something someone is saying. So yeah, I would like to know. And again, this is something new. I think that we're trying to bring to South Africa where South Africans and people from the United States or whoever, everyone that can come up and actually speak and give their opinion, or we can talk about it because again, we're trying to bridge the gap. And me and Mr. Balls, we're trying to make this our home. So we want to know as much as we can about what's good, what's not good, the steps we should take to do different things. You know, is this acceptable? Things of that nature. So that's why I ask so many questions, and I do go to South Africans and say, "Hey, help us with this. Tell me about this. What do you think?" So one thing that y'all should keep in mind though is people have different experiences, so everyone's opinion may not be the same. Sometimes people get a little harsh with their opinions, and they be like knock down, drag out because they have a difference in opinion, or and that could just be this YouTube thing though. So who knows? But anyway, sorry about that, Miss Juanita. It did get a bit frustrating. I don't know exactly. Sometimes reception is a problem. The elements of space, race, municipalities, and rates, and the legal and physical infrastructures was problematic at the time of freedom negotiations. Okay, is this Lim? Hello, Lim. How are you? hmm
Hello?
Lim,
Yes. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for being
yeah, you
here.
were saying,
I'm sorry.
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, I said. You were saying about how they made billionaires and millionaires. Well, you have BEE, which is Black Economic Empowerment, and like 30% of a company is often owned by like one black person. And even the EFF has said that it's not been done right because what they could have done to like improve the masses is the workers of that company could have owned a share, and altogether the workers would own 30%, and then they would have all been better off. But instead, you've got one person who's a multimillionaire, like the president, and that's how he's made his money. So it's like not right, I
Okay.
guess.
I see what you're saying. Well, I think there's going to be an election when next year.
Yeah, that's municipal.
hmm So, maybe there it needs to be some reform because I have heard that, the BEE may not be the best or has done the best or made the changes that it was supposed to make. Maybe it wasn't implemented correctly. I've heard that. Now, in the United States, we have affirmative action and lots of different things too. Even for us as a business owner, my husband and I, we, as minorities, I should say, there are programs that we participate in too. There are things that can be done which would make it more beneficial for everybody. So I definitely understand that. And maybe now that they've seen, how long has the BEE been in place?
So, for years, decades.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not sure exactly. Basically, since at the end of apartheid.
Oh, that
But
long.
it's increased. So there's been different laws at different times increasing.
Oh, okay, so you mean like the 30% may have been 10% at one time? Or
Yeah,
when you say it's
something
increased,
like that.
oh, wow. So
So
you would say that the BEE has not brought the equality that it was supposed to bring, and that's what it was supposed to be for. Am I
no,
correct? Okay. Mm,
yeah, it's just enriched a few, while the
a few.
masses have stayed poor. Yeah.
Well,
I was also talking about, sorry, I'll
let me
let
read this comment before we go on to something else. Sabusi says BEE is a good strategy to share resources, but it's not serving the poor at all. It only serves rich people like Mr. Ram and his white friends. I don't know who Mr. Oh, Ramaphosa. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he's basically saying the same thing that you're saying, that it's not serving the people that it should serve. So that look, we got an agreement. You all are in agreement about that. So there
yeah,
definitely needs to be some things that are done for that. Um, Okay, after apartheid BE was established. Okay. Now you do understand, well, you're young. You're a very young man. So I can imagine, I'm going to say it this way, I can imagine why they wanted to put something in place to try to build up the African or the Black African to cause equality. I can see why they would want to do something. I'm just assuming at the time no one had a plan on how to actually implement it. So I mean, you do understand why it was done, or do you?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, listen, that means there's an agreement there. So everyone can work for some agreement. Maybe there needs to be some more. The democracy is in place now, so there maybe need to be some people sitting at the table to come together for a better plan. I think that can happen. Maybe where we're going,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say about the electricity.
Mm, go ahead.
So there's a lot of reasons why the electricity is so expensive in South Africa. One reason is, well, it's all comes down to corruption, basically. But a lot of people do not pay electricity in South Africa, whether it's like the townships or even people that have houses. The people that install like the cables for the electricity, they can actually not install the meter, so you're not actually paying electricity. So you can use as much electricity as you want, but you're not paying anything. So there's people who have like paid off the people in charge for that.
So therefore,
And
causing a higher expense for those who do pay.
yeah, and for the big companies, and that's why a lot of companies are leaving.
Mm. Okay, that's a problem. I'm sure. Okay, that seems like something that could be worked out. I mean, could be found out about. That doesn't seem. You're right. Yeah, something's going on with that. So is there anything that you know of that's been doing that? Are we doing something about it at this point? Or are we just recognizing what's going on?
Have you seen Citizen Concerned?
Yeah, I have seen him. Not recently. I haven't seen her recently, so I'm gonna have to go check it out. But I have seen her before, but I don't recall her talking about electricity recently. I don't know. Has she?
I think she did like a year ago or something.
Oh, okay. See, I've only been here a year, so it probably was before I came. But if she's been talking about a year ago, has anybody done anything? You seen any movement, any protesting, or anything to try to help with the corruption?
No, but that's not the only reason as well.
Okay, what's
There's
the?
so in South Africa they have like there's different grades to coal. So the government is buying high grade coal, which is very expensive. And then for the actual power plants, the people that are like running the power plant, they buy low grade coal and they burn that instead. And so they're actually stealing the money basically, that then they're reselling the good coal.
Okay, who's buying the good coal? Where is it going?
I have no idea.
I mean, I can't that
No.
oh, I don't know about that one, Liam. That last one, who's buying good coal and how we get okay. All right. That just sounds like that's a housekeeping problem. Somebody's got to figure something out because if it gets to the point, oh, I got a question for you though. I've noticed for I'm going to say about this year, there's no more load shedding. Why is that? You think there hasn't been any load shedding?
I'm hmm. Well, they were running diesel generators. I'm not actually 100% sure,
Mm.
to be honest. But
Th-
they were, yeah.
This is interesting.
And people are
Wow.
saying after the election it was going to stop, but it didn't really.
No, I
At the
haven't.
yeah
I haven't. I don't think we've had. I think earlier this year, in the beginning, earlier this year, that we did have maybe one time that they on the app it talked about load shedding, but I haven't heard or seen anything of it since then. It has to be at least 6 to 8 months ago. So you know, that's a good thing. And I just wonder, this goes hand in hand with what you're talking about as far as electricity goes, and the selling of the coal. Though I'm just wondering who they're selling coal to. That is that's so that means that would be having to go to some neighboring country. Am I correct about that?
possibly, probably.
Hmm. Let's see. Electricity is expensive. Yes, corruption and poor maintenance is also the reason. It's not. Let's not forget rich people who also cheat electricity in South Africa. There's white and black corruption. Corruption is just bad behavior, white and black. I agree with that. But I want to know how we cheat electricity, or we cheat on electricity by hooking up without plugging into the meters, you're saying. So they're putting meters
Yeah,
on the home, but not registering the meters with ESCOM. Is that what you're saying? Is that how it's being done?
yeah.
Mm, that is a problem. But listen, Lim, how long have you lived here in South Africa?
Well, I left, unfortunately.
Where are you at
Well,
now?
I'm in England. My parents moved. That's why.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I would
You
like to go back. But
okay? I love
yeah,
it here. I've been here only a year, a little over a year. I'm from the United States. I definitely see some issues here, but I think South Africa is a beautiful place. I think with some help and a little bit of organization per se, I think South Africa would be an excellent place to be. That's just my opinion. I think so.
yeah,
And you
definitely.
got to take care of the problems, like you mentioned. There are some things out there that are not, that doesn't make any sense to me either, coming from the United States. But it's got to be a good little median there that you can have. So, do you enjoy, or do you like where you live now?
It's not as good, but I'm
That sounds
studying at
like a no.
university. I've got 1 year.
Okay, okay. And what do you plan on doing after that?
Yeah,
You coming back?
yeah, possibly if I can
Okay.
get a job.
What are
Doing
you going to
mechanical
school for?
engineering.
What are you going to school for? Oh,
Mechanical
engineering,
engineering.
medical.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. That sounds good. That sounds good. Thank you so much for calling. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to this live tonight? Thank you so much for being here too. So, but anything else you want to add?
Um, I can't really think. I'll probably think of something in like 5 minutes. I can't
Huh?
really think of something right now. I can't really think of something right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can't think of anything. But listen, don't go anywhere. We're going to continue to have conversations. We're going to continue to have people come up and talk to us. So if you hear something that you want to chime in on, please just hit the link and come on up.
All right, will do. Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. Sure. Thank you. All right. Is this Miss Juanita? We're going to try it again. Miss Juanita. Miss Juanita, I see you, but do you hear me? Okay. Well, Chaka girl, how are you? Listen, let's see. Is this guy South African? He says he's definitely lived here. He doesn't live here now, but let's see. I don't agree with your live caller. Electricity has to go up because of maintenance contract increases, equipment increases, staff salary increases for all employees. So everything goes, it has to go up. Listen, hybrid, I agree with you, but I definitely think that Lim had a point about stealing electricity. If you have people who, if you have blocks and communities, whole buildings of people that are stealing electricity, it has to play a huge part on those who do pay. I mean, come on, y'all. You come on now. It has to. There has to be some cost in that. I mean, that's just reasonable. That's reasonable thinking, because the power is the power. The grid is being used, so it has to be. Now, I guess ESCOM doesn't have to charge us. I mean, I guess that's what you're saying, but we are being charged, and I'm almost sure if everyone played a part in paying the bill may not be as high. Now, as far as the coal being, the good coal being given away or sold to someone else, that's interesting. That's very interesting there, because that means there's a lot of everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie, and I don't understand that. Sometimes we have to do what's best for South Africa, but definitely, if you are stealing electricity, you are definitely increasing the price for those that are paying. Come on, that's hybrid. Come on, let's just be reasonable with that. That is a reasonable thought. So if you got something else to add, though, another price, or not another price, another suggestion, another reason, because it is kind of expensive. But again, we are fortunate to have solar panels, so we don't have to participate in the load shedding part of it, but we still have to pay for street lights and things of that nature that everybody has to participate in. So if everybody's participating in it, then I'm sure it would reduce the cost. More people involved, the less you pay. They want to prioritize. Ooh, hey, I got a question. Um, Listen, a private company. What is Escom? Is Escom not a private company? But hey, Sabu, Escom has many problems, and corruption is one of them. Oh my goodness! And the infrastructure was not serviced for a long time. And your young guest only reasoning is corruption. No, he said there was. Well, you saying stealing is corruption, and the coal thing, that's more corruption. Apartheid had an impact as well. Yeah, I mean, all of that. All of that. But guess what, y'all? We are 30 years out of apartheid. There's time for new things to start happening. And I want to be not necessarily a part of it, but I want to see it. So whatever needs to happen, y'all, let's try to put these things in place, or talk to the people, or I don't know how y'all do it here. I asked somebody one day, is there a suggestion box somewhere where y'all could put some suggestions in, and then there could be, a meeting on Parliament where they agree or disagree? I don't know how it's done here. I'm just kidding. But there needs to be some, there's been so much talk about corruption. There's been a lot of talk about corruption. I think that everybody seems like they're a bit frustrated with it. So there's going to be some times for election. So maybe something different. It's time for something different. I don't know. Because guess what? It's a whole lot of us moving here. So that means some things are changing. I know y'all see it. And I think it's being done for the best. So hopefully we can keep the momentum going, and South Africa can be that place where everybody would love to live, Because it's a great place. It's a great place for me. Everybody has problems. So I'm not, trying to pretend like it doesn't, or, we don't have problems. Everyone has problems, and there always will be corruption. Y'all absolutely know that. There's going to be somebody doing something that they have no business doing. So that's always, y'all got to already put that on the bottom line. The bottom line is going to have some corruption in it. It's just how it goes. You just got to get your checks and balances in place. And as far as maintenance goes, that right there alone is job creation. So come on, put it out there, y'all. Job creation, maintenance. I mean, really think about it. Hey, Tim. Is there Mr. Tim? Hey, Tim, how are you? Just one second. So that's always, I already put that. Hello, Tim.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Hello, I found you on CT's channel and
Oh,
became one of my.
okay. Thank
One, I want
you.
to say God in your family. Um, and secondly, South Africa's in a weird position when it comes to things like energy, because they're allies with the United States and Russia. So there's a lot of things being moved around behind the scenes, where they do some things on the energy side with Russia and some things on the diplomatic side with the United States. And I mean, it's got to be tough for their president having two different conversations on many topics on what to do. And then you can also play both sides against each other as well. So there's a
I
lot
think,
worked out.
I think, can you turn your device down a little bit? Your broadcast, that sounds like, okay. Yeah. So I'll keep hearing myself. Okay, listen, shut down your broadcast. You got it open, and it sounds like on two places, because I'm getting them. I'm hearing myself echoing. Is that? Okay, so listen, I'm gonna try to say this. It almost seems like no, it's not. He's got it open twice. Okay, so I think what they're saying is, Tim, you can go out and come back in, but you have two of the broadcasts open. You got to open in two places because I'm echoing. But I want to say this. This sounds like an in-house problem to me. I understand what you're saying as far as where we get the energy from in South Africa, but it sounds like they have what they need. It's just the maintenance of the infrastructure needs to be done, which is in-house, which is job creation. And the other part, I think what I'm hearing is that there is some corruption within the electricity company themselves, or the company that's actually running it. I think that's what I'm hearing. So it's more of an in-house South African problem instead of the allies or the people that they get the energy from. I think that's what they're saying. They have everything they need. It's just processing it the way it should be, I think, is what more South Africans are actually saying. I don't know, but I do know, and I've heard often that there is some corruption there, and the cost of energy is very high. So electricity, I should say, is very high. Um, the Liam just mentioned something about coal. I don't know anything about that. Like I said, I think the problem is in house. So it could be some of what you're saying, though. South Africa may be in a very, predicament in the middle of some things. That could be the case. So I'm just gonna pay attention to see what happens because I just feel as though South Africa is becoming like a new place, and they're going to be working out some things, doing some things different, and I think it just gets ready to take off. And I just think things are going to be addressed. All issues are going to be addressed, and I think it's going to be just make a world of difference over here to for South Africans and foreigners like myself. So I just can't wait for that to happen. I'm seeing it already, but those little small or intricate things that like are going on, people are going to start seeing those things change, I believe. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. Turn it
So
up. You turn. I can't hear you.
so I have a question for you. Your year that you've been there, how would you grade things having been in South Africa, like on from like a A to a F?
Okay, so me being here the year that I've been here. Okay, now I'm grading on let's see, a new resident. Cause so your first year here, everything's gonna be good. So I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B. Yeah. Because again, everything is new and things that I see are all good for me. I haven't seen or been a part of anything that I would quote that is negative. Things are different, but negative, no. I mean, I've been amazed at some of the things that I've seen because they're very good things. Some of the resources that are here that I see for resources for myself, some of the access to some of the things that they have here, which I knew nothing about. So this is like a B for me. But now that I'm here, bought a home, I'm living here, I'm experiencing electricity, I'm experiencing water, I'm experiencing all these things. I haven't had any problem with it myself. But now that I'm diving more into living here, I'm beginning to see some issues. I'm beginning to see, oh, so that's why these people complain about this. Oh, that's a problem over here. Still not so much me firsthand, but I'm seeing some issues. I'm seeing some problems. And I'm like saying to myself, wow, that's interesting. I wonder why that's like that. Because I see so much job creation, but there are no jobs. I see so much that could be done, but nobody's doing it. And I'm thinking, I wonder why. And then what I hear from people that do live here, it's always the corruption of the government. They always say the government is corrupt, the government is corrupt. So I'm like, this has got to be something that can be said, or done to just to bridge that gap or make that government different if that's the problem, or how as long as it's been this way. And they say for 30 years. And I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. The government can't be corrupt for 30 years. That's not making sense. That's not making sense. So,
It can.
I know it
It
can,
can.
but okay, but then when did we find out it was corrupt?
What if you always knew it was corrupt, but you didn't have the power to do anything or the resources to even make a change to kind of even steer anything in a different direction.
Well, I can agree with that if only okay, so how many people did we say live here in South Africa? Was it 63 million? Okay,
Something
so
like that, I think.
if only 6,000 said it was corrupt, I would see where you are. I could agree with that. But if 40 million out of those 63 million are all saying the same thing, then I would be like, well, wait a minute, something's not right. Because if 43 million y'all are all saying the same thing, then okay, what happened? Why didn't y'all just go get somebody else? And then, what would be the answer? That would be my question. So definitely it hadn't been this way always. So, that's what I would question. Like, come on, y'all control this. This is your thing. Y'all control this thing. So that would be what I would say. I would just be like, okay, yeah, it's on y'all. Y'all got to do something different, you know. But I can see how people can just accept things. I typically that's what we do. We kind of just accept for so many reasons. We just kind of go along with it, or we get we just get in our little bubble and we're fine. And especially if it's not affecting you, you really don't care. You be like, okay, that's what it's okay. But see, I'm one of them nosy people. I'm one of them nosy people. I just think, I'm like, wait a minute. Why do you have to steal power? What's going on over here? And some people have made it such a norm to steal power. I was like, oh, okay, and I'm thinking that's not normal, but it is normal. So that type of, because it could be affordable for everybody. There is so many people. There's so much wealth here in South Africa. It's so much. The disparity part is just like making me, I'm like, okay, I'm not understanding this. I'm not understanding why sometimes people struggle with water. Why are some people struggling with water? That type of thing. It should be able, and then the first thing I hear is the government. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking that there should be, something that can be done. So, what are your thoughts? I hope I answered your question.
Well, so I'll give you a little insight. I work part time for the State Department on defense policy, specifically with some countries in Africa, but more Northern Africa. So I don't have as much experience with South Africa. What I will say is there's a huge bidding war right now, especially since U.S. aid went down between China, Russia, and specific United States. France is an outlier, and they all want in on these governments. They want the control to be able to offer contracts, offer. So that's why most of my questions come from the diplomatic backroom door dealing of, I know somebody's greasing pockets. I know there's a lot of, hey, president, hey, why don't you? So there's where my insight comes from. And I think South Africa, they're kind of everybody of, let's make a deal.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So then this, can that be done without corruption? Or is that another sense of
No,
corruption? Mm.
no, no, because anything I offer you, there has to be a return. Doing
Mm-hmm.
anything out of the goodness of my heart.
Right. Okay. As the Blacks, we didn't have alternative and we have different views on the future. Hence, it has been difficult to remove ANC and DA. Okay. It is not an option for South Africa. Okay, it's South Africans. So you're saying the DA, so those are your only two choices? Because you're saying you don't have an alternative. Okay. So they're saying, so Tifo is saying that as far as answering my question as to how I know that it couldn't be the government this whole 30 years, they're saying that they don't have an alternative. Now, I mentioned earlier that, and I think, Tim, you're saying the same thing. It's going to be some corruption somewhere. Somebody somewhere is going to get some money that they didn't tell you about. Very unlikely that everybody's going to be on the up and up. So what they're saying is that they really don't have an alternative. The ANC is the best choice. And DA is not an option. Now, is the DA not an option because they are European or what? Are they Afrikaans because they're white? Is that why it's not an option? I wonder. I need to know, why is the DA DA, it is not an option for South Africans. Why is that? I mean, because I need to hear what you're saying. I need to see it completely. Because if the ANC is not it, the DA is not it, then what you're right, you don't have an option. So then maybe something needs to be created. There are corruption allegations going back to the 1990s, but it has only really started affecting the majority since 2013-ish. Okay. All right. So it hasn't been the whole time. Okay. So Tim, I guess you're right with this, but they definitely they definitely have put some things, DA white party. So okay, so the white party is not good for South Africa. Is that what you're saying?
I, I mean, I can only tell you what I see from the news for the most part.
Oh,
I
not
don't know.
you,
You
Tim.
would
That's a
know that.
comment. That wasn't you. That was just a
Oh,
comment that was made. That was a comment that was made. No. Oh God. I mean, this is interesting. Wow. There's still some healing that needs to go on. It's a big lack of trust. There's a lot of trust issues out there too. Wow. Majority of AD voters are not white, right? Well, it's 80% blacks. Okay, I see. So, it's interesting. So China and Russia, huh? Okay.
yeah. So you look at what's going on with Burkina Faso, their president Ibrahim is I consider him a smart dude for a few reasons. When he came to the table, when they asked him what he wanted, it wasn't just money. He wanted his kids or his citizens to get education over in Russia because he wanted them to learn what the rest of the world was learning. So it wasn't just money or we were going to buy your arms or whatever the deal was. He was looking at a broader picture of the future. And I think a lot of people don't have that mentality to think like that because he thinks like a warlord, a general, and a president at the same time,
Same
from what
time.
I'm seeing, where most of the time you only see that they have, or I'm thinking presidential, or I'm thinking I'm in charge, I'm the warlord. He's kind of got his hands in all three, wearing all three hats. So I'm looking at that saying, man, he might have figured something out. Um, and I don't know if the other countries have the leadership to kind of have that way of thinking.
Mm.
So um, my next question is: have you traveled anywhere else in Africa besides South Africa to have a comparison to see what's going on and where you're at versus what's going on elsewhere?
No. I haven't been anywhere outside of South Africa. No. So
Do you have any designs?
desire, no, I don't. I don't. I'm now. This is now. This is today. Maybe when I'm used to this, acclimated to this, have some residency here, have more of a voice, or not necessarily a voice, but where I'm making all this make sense to me. All this needs to make sense to me before I can move forward. This has to make sense to me first. I have to recondition my thought process in my mind and the way I think. I have to recondition myself before I can go to anyone else or anywhere else and try to think about, okay, how does this work? I have to do that first for myself. Otherwise, I'll be really lost. Because, like I said, I've been in the United States all my life, and how we do things there. It's different. So you have to really just, take on and try to find out what's going on here. Because Miss Layla is giving some good information here. And for me, I'm thinking, wow, that's interesting. How does that work? Is that a given, or is that just how it is? Sometimes things just don't make sense to you. You have to rethink. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to rethink about things, I should say.
Have
So
you found a church home off that?
no, I have not. I have not found a church home yet. That's coming. I'm soon. I know that's coming, but yeah, no, not yet. Have not. Um, Coming soon. Coming soon. Hopefully. There's a bunch of churches around here I can, of course, go to, but I just haven't landed in a church home yet, or found somewhere that I can say, okay, this feels right. I can do this. Not yet. Mm-mm. Now, have you been to South Africa before? You said no.
No, and no, I haven't. I've only been to Europe, which I feel really guilty about, especially as somebody black in America that I've never been to Africa. But I've been trying to work on it. I mean, so I'm also an artist, and I tour as a drummer, and I play in a bunch of bands, and I've only been playing Europe and Central America. I've never been able to book a gig in South Africa or Africa, period. So I've been
Hmm.
working on it though. I mean,
You definitely need to add it to your bucket list. Don't. It's a beautiful place here. I think everybody should want to visit Africa, the continent, and definitely South Africa. That should be something that we should do. Everyone should do that if they can, of course. But if you have the means, definitely do it. You will be so surprised. I just think we've been like lied to
now
for so many years.
go?
I didn't hear you.
Where should I go? Like, where should I spend my time if I go to South Africa?
I would of course say Johannesburg. But again, you could catch a flight to Cape Town or to Durban. A flight to Cape Town is about an hour and 40 minutes, and to Durban is probably about an hour. So you could go to the beach and be back in a day or however you want to do it, and it's not expensive to do. As far as it's catching the flight, so you'll just come to Johannesburg and you'll be able to go. And there's a lot of places I've been hearing. There's a lot of beautiful places around here. So I haven't even begun to know where everything is here myself. So I
All
don't.
right.
There's a
Well,
lot of places.
I gotta hop off. I just wanted to jump up because I saw your conversation and I wanted to get in on a little bit. But I will say, keep doing the Lord's work. God bless you guys. I'll be praying for you, and
Thank
just
you.
keep doing your thing.
Thank you, Tim. And anytime you see us
Have-
on here, just definitely jump up. We would love to speak with you. All right. So there was a bunch of comments that came in. Miss Layla, thank you so much for your comments. I had a couple up there I wanted to read. Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel, thank you so much for your comment. It says, I'm glad to see that you are happy there, but I missed your podcast on relationships and marriage. Or maybe I've been missing them. Listen, Miss Rachel, I love my podcast on relationship and marriage, but since I've been to South Africa, I've been trying to do relationship and marriage and being a woman and a wife and all of that, but it just seems like that's not where we are here. Um, it just seems that way. Maybe just me, or maybe I haven't, gotten an audience to that point yet that is looking for that type of podcast. But it just hasn't fit. Right now, I'm still just learning essay, all the good things about essay, and just trying to share with everyone in the United States what's going on in essay, as far as South Africa, and just trying to acclimate myself. But I miss that too, so thank you so much for that. I have a couple of shows that I've done here, but nowhere near like it was there. It's different, but maybe soon they'll need those type of podcasts too. We can have those conversations. Thank you for that. Let's see. Miss Layla says South Africa is grossly monopolized, and individual parties have different angles, but the same objective. The objective normally does not correlate with the people, the majority. Okay, that's interesting. So, okay, I've heard about several parties. And when we have so many parties that believe in the same thing, we just hurting ourselves because we are lowering the numbers. If we can all agree, if five parties that have the same interests, you said same objective, if they can all get together and form one party, then they could win possibly. The objective normally does not correlate with the people though. Okay, so wonder what that wonder what. So all we need is a party that can encompass several smaller parties that objective is for the people. And then we'll have a winner, right? Excuse me. That seems like an easy thing to do, right? In my opinion, only SA power hinges on strategic alliances and economic influence, not just numbers, unlike the US, where majorities often dominate. You made a comment earlier on where it says, gosh, I don't remember it exactly, but you said it equated to the power belonging to having nothing to do with the numbers. Because again, if 80% of the people here are Black Africans, then, and they are the ones in power now. But I think you kind of maybe were implying that they're not in power. The smaller numbers are the people in power. That's interesting. That is interesting because it seems like that just couldn't even be that way. But I've heard so many different stories. But I think I understand what you mean. To win, leverage coalitions, resources, narratives over sheer numerical strength. It would have to be, because you're saying even though the numbers are there, there's no power there. So I think we have to figure out, again, for the people, what do the people, because the people are the numbers. What is the best for the people? That would be good. Now, who can definitely put that together and say what's the best for the people, though? What's the best for the people? That would be interesting. That you need some sort of political group that's going to say what's the best for the people, and then have the people say yes to it by voting yes for that particular group. I just made up all of that. I know for sure that's probably not going to happen, because guess what? People just don't agree on anything. SB, if you believe in the Bible, only healing will be when TMH cleans these lands because of their treatment towards his children. Yeah, but I know that you're right to a degree. And let me say this. This is what I believe. I believe before all of that, there needs to be repentance, because we have to let God do his work. Okay? Because it seems like you're saying in the Bible, only healing will be when TMH cleans these lands because of their treatment. We have to let God do his work. So in other words, there may be some unforgiveness in our hearts. That to me would be carrying a curse in itself. That would be hurting ourselves. So there's a lot of healing that has to go on. But remember, in that healing, we got to repent. Bad behavior is everywhere. But in order for God to get that church that he's talking about, clean, without, specks or wrinkles, just pure, first you got to come through Christ. And I don't think a lot of us are willing to do that. This is me and my belief, because you spoke of the Bible. This is me and my belief. You got to become healed. You got to recognize and realize that, you are a sinner, and Christ is what saves you. And then things will start happening for you, in my opinion. I'm a woman that came from the United States, and people, I didn't even think about what I was giving up, or was I giving up anything, or living in South Africa. It didn't matter to me, because my thoughts were, I can praise God anywhere. And that needs to be what individuals need to understand. God I serve it's the same God that was in the United States. I didn't miss anything. I'm not losing. I'm not missing, because I've repented, and I repent and die to this every single day. I have to remind myself. I have to remind myself, I gotta go. I don't want to say it's nothing, but it really isn't. I can't take anything with me. So we need to understand that. I think we're missing it. I think we casting too much on what's going on here in this land and per se. I got to make sure my soul is right. I got to make sure of that. And I want everybody that is listening today, if this is what you believe. Now, if you don't believe in Christ, hey, I understand. But you need to, this is me. I think that's the only way. You got to repent. Too often we want to do God's work for him. We want to do it for him. Only God can take care of his work. We got to do the work for ourselves, meaning we got to repent. We got to repent for our sins and the things we do, our mind, our body, our spirits. We have to repent for that, and ask God to use us. And then maybe we can see how big of a change, we can accomplish, instead of doing something different, or wishing bad behavior or something, wishing something would happen different. Repent, and let's just see what happens. So listen, guys, it has been a very good day, a very good evening. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all time with me. I will be back. And until then, y'all have a very good evening. Bye-bye.